Hello and welcome to some more Factorio. Today's stream is slight change of program from yesterday's stream where I was doing Crash Storio again. Today we're going to be switching back to the Blueprint series, so I'll get where I am loaded up. Couple of notes. I was expecting a parcel. Well, I wasn't expecting a parcel, and then I was expecting a parcel. I'm not quite sure I see what the point of Amazon Prime days are, because they're meant to deliver things on Amazon Prime days, and they just ignore them. They just turn up randomly whenever. So I'm not quite sure I see what the point of that is. That you nominate, because you're meant to nominate a day that's like, you're please deliver my parcels on this day, and they just do it whenever. So I may have to dash off and get the parcel. The other thing, my neighbours have been having something doing with the internet. Because the company that does all of the internet cabling and stuff was digging up the road and been laying concrete tarmac this morning. So, and my internet flicked off a couple of times. So if it goes off, it'll go to a temporary screen, and I'll take it out the YouTube edit and stuff. But that's what's happening there, and I may not spot it because I can't see it. It's in my peripheral vision, basically. So where are we with this series? Basically, the point of this series is I'm building myself a standardised blueprint library. I don't have one. I've always tended to build the blueprints as I play the game, every time I play through Factorio. And instead, when I did the Megabase series, I realised, it was like half the series was me just doing up to a rocket. And so I sort of figured, particularly with things like trains and stuff, I kind of repeat the same designs over and over again anyway. So I might as well just have a standardised set of blueprints. So what we did last time I played this series was I tweaked I tested out the blueprints that we got. Now, we could have done that again, but I figured instead we should probably sort of move on a bit. I did implement some changes following that series, mostly around sort of tidying it up. So this is the current blueprint book as it stands. So for example, I had the starter power in here, and I realised that wasn't massively convenient. So instead, the starter power is now in the burner base. And I've sort of tweaked some of these based on... So the one that's really changed is this one, where I've added in extra miners, because it wasn't really enough to, produce what it was meant to be producing. So I've added in extra miners. I don't know that it's really changed that one particularly otherwise. I did a thing with a power pole for the science one, so it's easy to hook it up. So now the idea of it now would be, say, especially with the power, this starter power. Oh, that's the cold power, but the starter power is you would put that in. Where is it? There it is. So you put that in, and then you see it's got an extra power pole, and you then connect that power pole, and then you can build it up as you go, and it all fits in together, and you don't have to worry about where to position it or anything like that. So that's just tweaking, really. And I discovered last time having it, siphons for the cogs and the circuits was just inefficient, so I've taken them out. And then I've broken these up based on a suggestion from chat, so that now you can just build, a bit of walls to protect your initial turrets, and when you eventually get gates, you can put them in, and then there's a floor if you want to put a floor in. I'm kind of thinking now what you would actually do is you'd actually double this up, so you would have two of these, because it doesn't do red and green science quick enough, really. It was always just intended as a starter, but the trouble is you sort of get to a point where, because the next blueprint is then this one, the Kickstarter base. Where is that? So, there's two. What I've done, I've separated out. So these are the full ones. So these are the full blueprints, and then I fiddled about with. There's like a modular version, so that you can put it down as you want, sort of thing. If you don't want certain bits in it, So this was what I was really doing. It's not really changed as such. I've just sort of tidied it up, you know, more structurally, because I was happy with where we got to. What I did find when I was doing the testing is that if you just focused on building these, you got overwhelmed with biters. So kind of playing it through, you kind of need to focus a bit more on defences. And I also added these double pillboxes so that you've got thicker walls basically on the ones you put down. And obviously you should move to these quicker than I was anticipating. So that was all the sort of fiddling about I've been doing. So what I'm going to propose here is I basically just plop these down as if we were... So if we take a copy of this, let's copy of that, and then I just sort of plop it down, you know, so it's all there, and then we sort of move on to things like green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits, the actual bus. Because what I've done as well, I've kind of worked out how big a bus I want to do, because the idea I think that I'm going to go for is that you do all of the sciences up to purple with just the bus as is, and then you start having to import material. So then you have to sort of bring in, well, you could extend it, I guess, you know, if you're playing differently, but you would then start bringing in green circuits by train and stuff like that to make your white science. So and I think that makes sense, because then you can also make a module factory and solar panel factory and stuff like that to help you do that. So I say basically, so there's this setup here. The thing we also did that we haven't really tested is the rails. So I never got to that, but the idea would be you would be doing this. So I'll just plop these down. We'll use the... Which one should we use? If we use the full one, and then the bot base. So I haven't tested the bot base either. But so if I want to plop these down as if you had been through it, sort of thing. Obviously, there's no actual biters on this map. It's all set to. It's in creative mode basically, so it's got no biters on it at all. So you would presumably have some sort of setup using the mining blueprints. It's not particularly well, optimized shape, the old the patches on this. So this map has a seed of just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And the intention is I will do a playthrough once I've got the thing all sort of finished in a sense. But we can also do testing runs and all that sort of stuff. Right, so if we just set this up, and we want mining again, we'll do this. Oh, that's a bit annoying. Oh well. Okay. Take that in there. Oops. Oh no, let me do that. There we go. No. Up there. Okay, so that's the stone coming out. You need 2 lanes of iron. So what we kind of want to do... Well, you need 1.5 basically. So that's 39. And that's 43. So if we sort of hook all of these together... maybe what's there? Oops. Like that. So this is almost recreating a, as if you'd played it through up to that point. I should have done this before, but I just didn't get time. Get this all set up, and then if we sort of balance these together, like so. So remembering that that's 2 lanes. So we've got one there. So if we put down... So which one is it? Burner base? No, it's the... Yes, burner base. So we need... Where is it? So that's the Kickstarter coal. So you would need to line it up, you know, with water. But it's then got... Have I got any pumps? Not sure I have. Oh, have I set it down to... Oh, I have. Okay. Pumps, there we go. But yeah, I mean, you would replace this with... I mean, you know, it needs to align with that in order to sort of be okay in a sense. But right, so we need to do the coal as well. Forgot to do that. I kind of... Apologies if I'm a bit flustered. I don't really like starting these streams knowing that, you know, a parcel's going to turn up, and it's a bit disruptive when you know, when you've got to do something like that. Particularly the Sunday one, I sort of prefer. Does that make sense? I think maybe we need to have two coming out. Well, we don't need to, I don't think, but we have sort of one going towards the coal. So you would then use the power, the generic power one. I took a copy, didn't I? That one there. So we'd use that one to extend this at this point, or somewhere around there. So that's what... Oh! Why have you not put them down? It's a bit odd. Where's the car? Oh, that's the wrong thing. What? Where's the power one gone? Oh, I didn't take it. Yes, I did. Where's the power one gone? Burner base. Oh, there we go. Right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Say, I mean, I don't think you need that many, but yeah. So one coal providing for our power. We need a bit of coal in there to kickstart it. I should have some on me. Yeah. Okay. So just chuck a bit in there, and then we can run a power line over. I mean, you wouldn't have these, but you know, you would have been playing the game through properly. So, right. So we go like that. That's fine. In there. That one there. That one there. Oops. So they're all connected. So put that across. Just use one there. Another one in. So yeah, I should have set this up really pre-stream, but just didn't get a chance. Won't take long though, because it's, you know, that's what creative mode is really. Right, so that gets us iron, copper, stone. So I say what you'll be doing with the burner base. So you put your power in, and then you would put this one down, and that would get you red science. You have to feed the boxes, you see, but you know, it includes smelting, and we can just chuck them in. Well, I mean, we're not actually going to do any research because creative mode, it's all unlocked. But then you do that one, and that gets you, doubles it up for you. And say it turns out that's probably not enough, I think. So anticipate you'd probably put a second one in to feed it, and then you've got a bit of defense for it, some gates for it, and some floor for it if you particularly fancy. But then, oh, it's also got ammo in it as well. But then, as I say, I think probably you would need to double it up. Now you could put that on the other side or elsewhere. Obviously, you know, I've got the spaceship in the way, so in fact, well, I just want to leave it there. But say probably best to do a second one. But then this next one, in fact, you know, you could always stick it on the bottom. Down here somewhere. Maybe double up the walls or something like that. But yeah, then so the next base basically. So that gets you. That one. Yeah. So effectively that one's done. So you would probably double it up. I've got these saved in my library, so hopefully I'm not deleting them. But I can always go. Yeah, I can always copy and paste them again. So that's the coal power. That's a smelting. So then we would use this Kickstarter base and say this is the full version. There is like a modular version of it. But it's got 2 parts to it. It's got 2 parts to it. I wish there was a way of setting one as the first one in the blueprint, because I always get a bit confused with these. So which one is it? It's start with a smelting. Smelt connectors. So I think that's the first one. Yeah. Yeah, so obviously this has got the defences on it and stuff, but you know, you can build it however you want, really. You do have to put it a bit further down, though. This doesn't feel like the bottom for some reason. Do I need to turn that round? Let's just plop it in and we'll see if I've got it the right way around. I don't think I have. No, it's the wrong way around. Okay. So it needs to be that way round. I designed it, obviously, you know, north to south, as it were. Yeah. So then you put the connectors on, or in this version you do. You put connectors on. Oh, it's completely the wrong way around, isn't it? Because this smelting needs to be... Okay. So this needs to be further over. So it needs to be over here somewhere. I mean, it doesn't. It could be anywhere, but in terms of orientation, we need to put it sort of there. And then that's the connectors. And then that's the defences around it. There we go. And then this is the other base. Oops. So if we put a bit there. Because I imagine you would put, you know, potentially put a pathway. Have I got any stone brick? Doesn't look like I've got any stone brick. Have I? Yes, I have. Sorry. So you put, you know, sort of a runway, pathway somewhere, and then this then is the Kickstart base. So these connect here. I mean, it shows you with the, you know, logic things what you're supposed to connect, but you know what you connect where, as it were. And it's got its own defences because you might not want to even use this. And then it should go, and you can use the robo ports to match it all up. But this is the first one effectively. So this is what is it? This is the like basics essentially. So it gets you makes all the stuff you need basically to start you off, and it produces things here. So we need to hook everything up. About to forget what order everything's in, but we'll just weave them over and correct any errors. Oops. Because it's self-contained, so it doesn't, you know, you don't need to build a smelting array or any of that stuff. You can do. Is it? Because it's a bit weird. It's a bit sort of, how can I put it? What you're feeding in is dictated by where everything is, as it were, or where it's needed for the production. So that needs to be copper. Like that. Next one, this next one is stone. Well, I might as well just hop that over there then. Down there. So that one's stone. Then we've got iron, coal, iron. Right. Pop that there. That, if we do that. Oh, it's not quite enough room. Okay. So this is going to be the coal. Like that. So you grab the coal from up here. Oh. So, I mean, I suppose really the best place for this is actually here, because that's less belts, but, you know, whatever. Da-da-da. So that'll work itself through, and I say that then produces all the stuff that you need to start actually building a proper base. So that's that one. So bin that off, and then we could get rid of the modular one, because that's obviously covered already. Did I open... No, that was the right one. So these are more generic ones that you would keep. Power you could put back. I guess smelting and mining could go back in there. The next one then that I haven't properly tested is this bot base. I can't remember if I... No, so I haven't even properly tidied it up, you see. So it's not even got some of the things with names in it and stuff. So if we build the walls first, that'll at least tell me where I need to put everything. Because this assumes basically then that you have set up some actual smelting, I believe. The connectors. Yes, because it assumes you feed in like the processed product. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, this is not gonna. Oh, it's obviously sort of for pretend anyway, but it's got the things on, so it's not going to do anything. Yeah, so then you make the bot base, and the bot base is sort of twice as big, is the idea, or roughly speaking, twice as big, and sort of fits on the end almost. But you need to feed in the materials, so I guess we could put it further down here somewhere. Or maybe line it with that corner there, maybe. Hopefully that's the right way around. Could just been a case of rotating it. But then these are the contents. Although there is, yeah, you have to do an oil thing as well, which is what we worked out last time. So we'll ignore that for the time being. Wait, was that already? No, it's that way around. Now let's find the radar and stuff. There we go. So it needs to go there, you see, and then the idea with the oil is it fits in here. Well, hopefully, that's what I didn't really work through. And there's the modular ones is part of this. So we should come back to the defensive one. There we go. Because what you actually do, because you basically the first thing you do is you research advanced oil. So actually, you kind of don't, you know, there is a level 1 oil, but then you basically immediately replace it with the level 2. What's coming out where? So we would need that to be sort of there, and then there's some defences to go around it. I think that's actually upside down, but yeah, basically this connects here. Ah, one tile out, but just fill the gap. Oops. Like that. I'm just going to put in cheaty water. I don't think they're even an oil and stuff, so we'll just put in fluid sources just to cover that off. But you would need to hook it up properly. So let's connect these. Connect these. So that's oil, that one. And that's water. So that one needs to be oil. That one needs to be water. Why are you saying you've not got any power? Wait, what? Oh, there's an error there then. That power pole's not connected to anything. Look at that now. So that's an error. Yes, so the idea of this one, though, you see, is you would actually make some smelting arrays. So you would need to go out and, you know, do the trains and stuff. So what we can do is we can just put them sort of here, maybe. Because we do have the smelting arrays, if I've got them somewhere. I'll leave that for a minute, but that should be it for that one, basically. So smelting. I guess at this stage, because you would use what it makes to, you know, to make your smelting array. Basically, that's sort of what you wouldn't make this straight off. You would make your smelting array, or at least start it, because you only need one lane of each for this. So you need. Oh, it's the right. Well, it's not. Okay. So we need, you know, a bit of steel, but it's only like half a lane. Copper, stone brick, coal, 2 lanes of iron. So you could put in, you know, level 1 smelting, and then, you know, replace the belts basically. So, but what we'll just assume, you know. Whoops. You've put in whatever you've put in, sort of thing. So what did we need? We needed steel. So I guess we could just loop that back rather than do that. So that's steel. If we turn that into... Where are the loaders? Have I got any loaders? Can't see them. Oh, no, they're there. So if we put, whoops, so, oh, that's lined. So we're just sort of faking this as if we'd done it, so I get a feel for, you know, how big it is and where it might be and that sort of thing, rather than... You know. So if I take out the coal ones first. So these are the coal ones. That can't be right. Oh, because that's going to be iron plate, isn't it? Okay. So that one there. So that's coal, coal, coal. Oh. So we make that iron ore. Obviously we need to hook up the power. So that'll feed iron, you know, make steel basically. So then if we make this one iron plate again, this one iron plate, oops, iron plate again, and then we needed copper and stone brick, which should be raw stone, wouldn't it? So have I got one too many? Copper, da, 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 da. Yes, that should be okay. Obviously, we'll just put, you know, the coal in. It should actually work if you doubled that one up. If you did another smelty one, it should actually cover it. Was kind of what I was going to go for, but I'm not quite sure it really works. Say that, you know, I would need to test it in a proper sort of playthrough type way. And you have to feed this in half a lane, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Oops. Come on, there we go. And then this needs to be the copper, which I put further down, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. It's copper. I say this hasn't been tested, so could well not really work properly. Leave it at space, because I'm going to have to fiddle about with the stone brick and etc. So these are the two iron plate ones. Okay, and then this needs to be stone brick, but I think, does it matter which way round it is? I don't think it does, because it feeds it on half side there. This filters it so that it's, you know, does whatever, and this one needs both anyway, so I don't think it actually matters which way round you put those ones on. It does for the steel, which is probably something I need to fix, really. Right, so if we do another one of these, we'll have that there, say, feed the other one on there. So this is the stone brick one, like so. I don't think you actually need, oops, an entire smelt array of stone brick. It's quite small. So that needs to be stone, and we'll see if it even works. Oh, hello. God, that sound. Is that Cronk 1 TV, 1K TV? Is that so? Am I too loud, or when you say that sound? Hi there. I have actually been fiddling around with my OBS setup, so do let me know if I've messed it up somehow. Do please let me know. I do appear to be very loud on the audio. I don't know if that's... Can I turn that down without... Is that any better? Oh, there was a certain... Oh, okay. Okay. That'll be... So I'm in creative mode. Thanks for letting me know, though. I'm in creative mode, and basically, so when you put down some of the big blueprints, particularly these ones, they do sound awful, because it tries to play like the entire set of sounds, and so it can be quite loud. I do usually, when I'm doing this series, turn the game audio down a bit, because, say, it tries to play every single, you know, belt sound, you know, inserter being placed sound, assembly machine, and all of them at the same time, and it is a bit of a cacophony. Right, does this work then? I mean, this is, I say, I haven't probably tested this with playing it through, and obviously we spotted a mistake up there. But does it even work? Are the right things going into the right places? Because I was sort of fiddling about with it, but I haven't properly tested it. So we're making pipes and cogs, that's okay. We're not making any... Oh, we wouldn't be making any green circuits, because there's no iron plate getting down there, is there? Ouch. So that's clearly a proper error, that. So I'd need to probably need sort of undergrounds here. Oh, that's going the wrong way, isn't it? And then sort of inserters in there. And can I hive off iron plate somewhere? Oh, no. It's the iron plate is meant to be here. Yeah, but it's eating all of that, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't be putting this down really in quite this way. You know, you wouldn't slap the whole thing down instantaneously, because you would have to build machines and stuff. There is possibly a bit of an error, though, in that this is blue machines, and this doesn't make blue machines, does it? I think this only makes grey machines. Huh. Why have I got blue machines in this, then? I mean, this does make blue machines. See there? Well, it will eventually, in the circuits. Okay, so I'm going to tweak this and just put a note in, basically. So it's this one, isn't it? And if we edit this, so errors, power pole. Oh, of course it does a. Didn't let you do returns. Power pole was wrong, and I guess I could put iron circuits question mark. And the other thing was the blue machines, because it's probably better to include like an upgrade blueprint in the an upgrade one in the blueprint. I think I'm doing blue machines because some of these recipes require fluids, I think. Something requires fluids, isn't there, in here? I think... Oh, there we go. So obviously electric engines require fluids. So what I could probably do is, in the modular version, to make it a bit clearer, and in the full version as well, we could have maybe say the first set of machines are grey because that's what you're making, and then this bit here that actually makes the blue machines, everything after that point is then blue machine. Oops, blue machines. Because yeah, there's no point having this blueprints that's like make all these blue machines when you're not making any blue machines. Obviously, I mean level 2 assemblers. I just call them blue machines. And there's another power pole error there as well, isn't there? So that one's a mistake on both ends, basically. Okay. But yeah, so are we making stuff? That's the question. We've not made any red circuits because, again, we don't have green circuits. Huh. Where would we even be getting green circuits from there? Do they feed back in some way? Do they loop back? No, they don't, do they? Because these ones don't appear to have any way of getting green circuits. I had a lot of trouble with this. I was trying to make it really, really compact, but then also, you know, do a lot of different stuff. It was like quite a bit of a nightmare, really. It looks like, because these guys need green circuits as well. Oh no, they're getting them from there. So there is no green circuits coming this way, is there? Because these need both pipes and gears, don't they? The engines. So it can't have been that they were meant to come along this line. No, that's just an error, basically. Huh. Where would I even fit them in? Okay, so that's another error there. I'm not going to be fixing these. See, this is just because I didn't get a chance to test them properly. We'll move on to what I actually want to do today. Oops. Reds don't... Oops. Don't have greens. Cool. Well, not cool. I mean, I could probably solve it with some horrible thing here. You know, taking sort of a line off there. Why are you not doing anything? Because you've not got any steel. Huh. Where would they get steel from? This has the feeling that I've deleted a line somewhere, doesn't it? Why would you need green circuits? Does anything there need green circuits? No, none of those need green circuits, do they? So this is all wrong. What needs to be on here is steel rather than green circuits. So this is... So I think that's what I was saying. But that's set up that would be that. So this is just an error. I mean, if that was Does steel need to go that way? Yeah, it does for that stuff. Okay, so this is a problem here, isn't it? That should be steel going that way, not green circuits. So that's a wrong sort of... It should be the other way round, probably, something like that. So that's another error. So that should be plus of the reds don't have greens, and what's this? So greens change steel. Okay. So yeah, there should be steel going that way. So they're now working. What I may be intended to do. Oh no, the reds would be going on there. And they do both need that. Because there's no way I could get... I think that's quite a tricky problem to solve, that. Because I've got a way of solving that offhand. Why is there plastic on that lane? Because you need plastic. Okay, that's fine. Why is there steel on that lane? Because you don't need steel, do you? Yeah, this has all gone wrong. This is me trying to fix it and making it completely broken, I think. Because you need steel, but you're getting steel there. So I don't need steel on this line. Okay, so there's some errors. That's what I was expecting. I mean, that's what I found when I was doing these. I only know these are okay-ish because I've tested them a couple of times. I say okay-ish. Yeah, okay, so what the plan for today properly is to think about the bus. Now, what I've done is used Factorio Lab, which is my favourite planning calculator thing, and I will switch over. This is why I was fiddling about with the settings, but if we do that, you should be able to see. Yeah, that should be coming through. You should be able to see the Factorio Lab calculator. Now, what I've done with this, the idea, as I say, of this whole, let's just call it a base in a book. I know that's heavily associated with Nilhouse, but the idea of the series is that, you know, you would be able, or I would be able to use this, because what I want to do, I want to repeat my Mega Base series, or have another go at Mega Base. And if I'm going to do that, I need to basically be able to play through the go up to a rocket basically in a quick, smart fashion, rather than the sort of 30 episodes it took me before. If we can do it in, 10 or something, then it will give me a lot more a lot more sort of. I won't be worn out by the time I even get to a Mega Base. So what I'm planning for this base is that it will get you to a rocket launch in a relatively easy way, a relatively simple way. You just have to slap down a bunch of blueprints and you can get to a rocket launch in a reasonable sort of time. Not hitting the no spoon or anything like that, but and it's got defences in it. It's a fully functioning base that you can then do whatever you want after that. And so the idea with the bus part of it is that it will take you basically up to utility science, and it will eventually be able to cope up to about 500 a minute. It may not really sustain that, but it should be about 500 a minute for all of the basic sciences. Then when we do the rocket launch, okay, you then have to start augmenting it with extra production, essentially. So the bus itself will be able to do this. Now, it has a bit of extra stuff. What this is down here is some extra things that you would hopefully be able to make with like the excess material on the bus, because if you just do these ones, essentially you don't actually need that many lanes on a bus, but you're going to want to make all, or the way I do them, you make all your other stuff on them as well. So I've added these in to try and reflect some of that. And obviously there's that thing where when it's not actually doing any science, you're waiting for blue to finish or whatever. It can back up material and you can use it for other stuff and blah, 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 blah. So say that's why I've added these extra ones in, and that should give us the number of lanes that we need. And say what you would then do is, iron is a little bit complicated because the way I would envisage building it is that you wouldn't be producing 14.6 lanes of iron, because your steel requires like half of that. And so what you would actually do is you have your steel smelting is using iron. So it's either raw ore to steel directly, or you have extra smelters that you divert stuff around for steel. So steel isn't quite there, but this gives a bus size of 8 lines of iron, roughly speaking. I know it says 10, but it's it's fine sort of thing. If it's 8 lanes of copper, and I say I've added in quite a lot of ammo. You probably wouldn't actually want to be at 500 rounds a minute. That's quite a lot, but it's sort of doesn't matter if it's a bit underperforming from those points of view. You just wouldn't you wouldn't be able to make 500 ammo continuously type of thing. But it gives us a feel for how many lanes. So for example, 2 lanes of raw uranium, we need 8 lanes of iron. Say we'll go with 8 lanes of copper because I've overdone the ammo a bit there. Now it says 6.6 lanes of green circuits, but that's because that's obviously feeding into the red, and I'm going to try and do the build so that the red is actually integrated into the the green is integrated into the red. It's not normally how I do it, but I do want this to be different. So if we take the red out, you see, you need about 4 lanes of green. So in other words, we're going to be diverting this iron and copper off to the red rather than the circuits, which is what I would normally do. And then you've got your blue circuits, and I've probably overdone what you would reasonably be doing for this because it's not a mega base. And the idea, as I say, is you would build a separate base to make modules, and that's going to be a separate part of the blueprint system and that sort of stuff. So what we need to do today, or what I want to do today, is lay out particularly the circuit builds, work through them, but then also how many lanes do we need for all of the, set up the bus as a blueprint system, basically. And then we may get to science, we may do red and green and blue and stuff, proper scale science for the 500, but as I say, we'll get there in the end. Oh, and just to note, there's only 4 here because the way I would envisage doing it is the way I normally do it, which is you put you build the things first. You build your red science because it's 10 machines. You see, it's like double the. So if these produce at 5 a second, and then it's doubled up basically. But then you put beacons along the outside, so it just gives it a boost, and you get about 4. You can get about 4 beacons on. So obviously it's not the 6 or 8 or 12 beacons or whatever that you'd probably want for a proper mega base, but 500 science a minute is fine in my experience. Yeah, so say we need to go through this basically, or I need to go through this and work out how many lanes I need of each and how the bus therefore looks. It's what I was trying to do yesterday in the Factorio stream, but I just got so confused. I think I just got really confused basically. And I just like planned out this bus that was, blimey, how many sets of, I think it was like 64 belts wide bus, and it's like, I don't even did that, it was just bonkers. So I don't know why I planned it out that big. So I need to rethink that on that series. But yeah, this is what I was trying to do. But I say the added complexity of Factorio was sort of doing my head in basically. Alright, so if I flip that back, there we go. Right, so what does this bus end up looking like? I say the ultimate. I mean, what I really should probably have done today is tested out that bot base properly, but because the idea of that base is it gets you some bots, and then you can use these blueprints, and you don't have to manually put in all the belts. You can just get the bots to do it for you, and you can do the more interesting science builds and stuff. So, what will we look like? Let's just plop down some of these like that. So we know we need. Oops. I just use these as spacers, basically. So we know we need, or we can work with. In fact, let's put down what the things are. So 8 lanes of iron, 8 lanes of copper, and then we would probably end up with 2 lanes of steel, was it? Let's just have a look at my list. Turn that back on. So it's 1.8 belts of steel. So, that's fine. If we go with 2. And then, what should we do next? Because we need stone and stone brick, don't we? Where the heck is it listed then? So it's, in theory, it's like 0.8 of a lane. Sorry, other way around. 1.2 lanes of stone brick and 2.5 lanes of stone. But, of course, you're converting some of the stone brick into... Sorry, some of the stone into stone brick. So, really, we need, well, 1.2 lanes of stone brick and 1 lane of stone to be on the bus. Because, obviously, we need to make... landfill and stuff as well. Question though, in fact, actually, I'd probably normally do green circuits, wouldn't I? So I might as well just stick with that. So we'd normally do. Get rid of them. So I'd actually normally do green circuits next. Now, so I put 4 down because although we actually technically need, well, sort of 7. Is it 7? Yeah, 6.6. I'm going to integrate the green circuits into the red build. So effectively, some of these will immediately disappear because they'll be going into green circuit and red circuit production. So, because what I'm actually anticipating is when you do, so this blueprint I've got for the smelting is like an iterative one in that you can build the stone one like this. And then you can replace it with the... I don't know why I've come down here again, but you can replace it with the steel one, and it overlaps perfectly. So, that's exactly the same blueprint. So you could either upgrade it. I put it the wrong way around there, haven't I? Let's try that again. There you go. Oops. So it's perfectly, the same as that. And then you can upgrade it to electric. And it's exactly the same over the top, essentially. Like that. And it's, got enough space for them and all that sort of stuff. Then you can upgrade it to electric. And then you can upgrade it to electric with... Excuse me, with beacons. And these are, I worked this out, this is the sort of number of beacons you need to get you sort of, it's about 1.2 lanes of material, and that then sort of covers the extra production as you ramp up the scale is the idea. Whether that's going to properly work, I don't know, but as you need more circuits, it should be able to cope, as you get towards the later part of the thing, you should be able to feed these in extra, and that's why I'm putting these four apart, because obviously we're going to want to be able to put roboports down the bus, but it also gives you room to add in, your 2 free lanes of iron, your 2 free lanes of copper, which you can then make up that difference of, basically, you know, that I was saying. Is saying when you get to the later techs, you're going to want slightly more production, but it's going to be in the, you know, iron, copper, steel area sort of thing. Or you could hive it off. You could probably hive it off to make more steel, actually. That might be a better way of doing it for the iron, rather than adding it in, because you don't actually need that much extra iron. It tends to be extra copper for the modules and stuff. Right, yes, so that would be there. Then, well, what I actually normally do is then flip to 2 lanes. Is that going to work, or is that going to be a bit too big? And how many of these would we end up needing? So we would, well, if we start with red circuits, and then you don't even need a lane of blues. Have I got any blues? No, I haven't. Okay. No. What? So it's not even a lane of blues, technically. So what might we pair up with the blues? What would be sensible? I mean, we obviously need 2 lanes of uranium. I would imagine, but I mean, the way I normally bring it in. Have I even got any uranium? No, I haven't. Is basically as raw, you know, raw uranium essentially, and then use Covarex on the thing, because you know we're going to want to make nuclear train fuel and as well as, you know, ammo and stuff like that. So if that's those 2. Well, let's just put them down and then I can work out what order. So we would have 1 lane of stone, say. And then 1 lane, what, 2 lanes of... Are you going to play ball? Yeah. 2 lanes of brick. What else we got? So we've got the iron, steel, circuits. Oh, there's the fluid bus as well. Okay. I normally do batteries and sulfur and stuff on the bus as well. I know a lot of players don't, but it's just how I prefer to do them. Sulfur, yeah, because it's like half a lane of sulfur. Let's get some sulfur. So like that. And then what else would we need? Would plastic end up on the bus? It would, wouldn't it? Because we need it for red circuits. So where's plastic in this list? So it's technically it's 3 lanes of plastic. That's interesting. I normally only do 2, which might explain why some of my stuff doesn't get produced very quickly. So we would need 3 lanes of plastic. What else do I normally put on? So there's oh, coal, because we need to do grenades. It's all of the military. It's all of the sciences. Yeah, and it's just 1 lane of coal. So let's go through the things. So we've got red science, green science, inserters, grenades require coal, walls require stone brick, we've got that, blue requires sulfur. I don't usually put engines on the bus, but red circuits as well. We need a fluid bus, we'll do that in a minute. Stone for rail, stone brick for furnaces. So we've got 2 lanes of stone brick, yes we have. 1 lane of, well, 1 lane on the bus of stone, and then stone for actual stone brick production. Batteries. Yeah, batteries. So it reckons 0.2 the lane now, and that's just for the thing. So we can put batteries there. Pipes and gears I tend to make locally. I know there's quite a strong argument for putting gears on the bus, but I don't tend to do that. Certainly solid fuel I make locally. What else? So we've got uranium. We've got that. Blue circuits. Red circuits. Did I put? Yep, put plastic on the bus. Yep. Green circuits. Copper. steel, iron. Okay, so that's everything from that point of view. So it's actually quite a neat number, isn't it? Okay. So the question here, of course, is if we want the bots to build it, they've got to have access to it all. Because if we're there, then technically they can't build the endpoints. So if we had... Because what I usually do, so I usually have a bit of an arrangement. Because we also need the fluid bus, there's that as well. But I usually do, when I do a bus... Where the heck are my stone bricks? I keep losing my stone bricks. There they are. So I usually do a bit of a path. So if we put it 2 over, so anything that's coming this way, you know, we can do a undergrounding. But I also usually do lane balancing. I know that it's sort of, you can do without it, but I just prefer all my lanes to be, you know, full lanes basically. I just think it looks better. What am I after? I'm after my belts thing. So we want that one. So yeah, everything that comes off the bus, we would lane balance. And the question really is whether I want to do that first, so we need a bit of a gap, or I want to have the, you know, the runway. Now what I actually do with science usually is feed it back. So how we kind of need to actually structure this is that, have I got any labs? Science would be down the bottom here. We also need an area for storage. So these are all going to be, you know, templates within the thing. I don't know why I did that quite so wildly. And then we would have machines making... I must have assembly machines, surely. Have I not got one me hotbar either? There we go. Let's just use that one. So, you know, you would have some making red science, some making green science, some making blue science, military science, you know, yellow, purple, you know, well, rockets can go anywhere. But then I feed them back. So what we also need is like a negative bus. So a reverse bus. And the questions, as I say, is what order do I put all that in? Do we have a runway? You know, walkway? Or do we have 2 walkways? We need the balancing area. Do we put these on the inside? Or do we put them there? Because whenever I play, I do it differently each time, basically. And that's sort of what I want to almost get away from. That I have a standard way of doing it. But then also, we need a bit of a runway. I've lost the bricks again. There they are. We need a bit of a walkway there. And then we need a fluid bus. Now, I tend to do a sort of belts and braces fluid bus. Or I have done in the past. So it's basically, you know, a set of pipes there. And I put everything. But we don't really need, including like heavy, you know, like crude oil. We don't technically need that. Because usually what I do, I'll have as part of the smelting area, you know, we'll also have an oil refining. So it's effectively, essentially, I mean, it's what I built last time, the trains. So I usually just sort of line up. Well, it's just putting it like that. We've got stations. Can I find an unload? There's got an unload somewhere. Oh, generic station. There we go. Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I would generally have, you know... Well, actually, what I normally do is have them parallels. So we would have just a whole load of stations dropping stuff off. Potentially, I often do them 2 sets like that, but you can just have them in a row. And then they feed into the smelting. So it's like corners, is it effectively? They feed into the smelting. and then all of your smelting comes up your bus. And obviously, you know, we need to hive off stone and all that sort of stuff as well. But part of that whole setup would be a whole bunch of oil refining. So, you know, obviously these would be arranged better, but, you know, we need to work out some oil refining. And what I also do then, and I say I'm not sure if this is necessarily a good idea, but what I also do, I need to think about, is I generally produce, you know, sulfur, sulfuric acid, batteries, you know, plastic, and also do the whole cracking. Oops. Cracking and all that sort of stuff right next to the oil. And as I say, I need to decide whether that's what I'm going to do. The reason a big part of the reason I do that is to try and like reduce all the fluid calculations, and it turns out it's not actually that big a thing. It's more paranoia on my part, particularly because they've optimized the game a lot. But that's sort of in my head, that's why I do it, sort of thing. But also, it then lets me put stuff like on the bus, but then I also take the fluids up onto the bus. So it's like, you know, sulfuric acid sort of thing. If we're turning it all into batteries, essentially. I mean, you know, sulfuric acid we need for blue circuits, so that's fine. And lube we need to bring up, but do I really need to bring up heavy, light, and, you know, all of them, basically? Because what I tend to do is when I get to where I'm doing rocket fuel, I'll just convert everything into rocket fuel. So anything that gets up to the end where the rockets are, or, you know, where the rocket fuel production is, just gets converted at the top. And actually what I normally do is uranium, you know, nuclear fuel for trains is actually made with the trains. So although I have the uranium here, generally I'll make power. In fact, I have to make power with the trains as well. So we may not even need this to be raw uranium. It may be, you know, leftover processed uranium. That may be a better way of doing things. But yeah, so it's those sorts of decisions I need to make today, really. Right, so I'm just going to put these down. In fact, let's not use them. Let's make it like it would be the proper blueprint. So, as I say, what I would normally end up doing is having everything fluid-wise. So we would, even crude oil. But that's just dumb. I don't see any point in doing that, really. But we want water. Because what I actually do at the trains, and say, one thing I do want to keep an idea I've got is that basically I make the uranium fuel for the trains, you know, the nuclear fuel, from coal, which I use coal liquefaction, and the uranium that's there. So we have a small production area that's basically fueling the train. So they're a sort of self-fueling system in a sense. It's completely separate from the bus version of any, you know, nuclear stuff. Right, so I usually put all three on. But is that really a sensible idea? Because we could just bring the light up, you see? Because we don't really need... If I'm already making the batteries and stuff, do I really need this up here? Feels a bit over the top, really. And the other option is I make the batteries and stuff on the bus rather than all the way down at the beginning. And we do pump these up. That's all the fluids though, isn't it? We need water. Cruder say we will skip. Heavy light petrol. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't need that one. Because, I mean, according to these calculations, we don't actually need huge volumes of anything. You know, so it's like... Which is a bit odd, actually, because I usually run out. So I'm not quite sure where it's getting these numbers from. But I mean, I suppose it's basing them on 0.1 of a lane of, you know, batteries, where actually I probably want a full lane of batteries. But yeah, so I mean, none of the numbers are. So it's, you know, well, the heavy is 0.1 of a pipe of heavy, and 0.1 of a pipe of water, and then everything else is smaller than that. So 0.1 of a, yeah, I mean, can't even show them, you know, less than decimal points basically. So you know, it's 0.1 of a pipe of fluid, lube, 0.1 of heavy, 0.1 of light. So they effectively trace trace amounts. But yeah, I think I will. I think I'll say I'll rethink how I normally do it. So we would just, you know, we'd do the cracking and stuff down by the actual oil refineries, but we'll do the battery production on the bus. Because I end up having to send things backwards, you see, which is, and I say I like that with the science, but you know, if I'm making batteries all the way down here, I've got to send iron and copper down, and if I'm making sulfur there, I've got to send iron and copper down. Whereas if I bring the fluids up, there, you know, it's all here already. Okay. Yeah, we need to play. So, how do I want to do this? Because we would have red and green. Have we got any? I haven't. Red and green, blue and military, purple and yellow, white. So it's 4 lanes. It needs enough room for other things to come across it. Yeah, I think I'll put that. Yeah, so if we do this after that, then sort of all that can go. But it's effectively... Do we have the running lane there? Yeah, I like having it there, I think, because then it's like more visually delineated from the, you know, from the science that's going backwards. So it's sort of easier to tell where it is. That's a bit of a rubbish reason, but it's a reason, so we'll stick with that. Okay, so that's the path. Yeah. And then this is where you're outputting your science, outputting whatever you're taking from the bus. Actually, if I keep that in, that'll help me tell with distance. Yeah, okay, so we need to be able to... Because I normally leave a little bit of a gap of a couple of machines. And then this is where the sort of first power part is. So we need large poles to be able to reach across. So the first place they would be able to go would be there. And then how far up can we do? There. So in theory there. Okay, that works well. This is probably 1 tile too far up. No, that's fine, because if we're taking, say, iron for, you know, batteries across here somewhere, that works. And we can avoid pipes with undergrounds there. Or it gives us the option of, you know, doing a dog leg. Or fitting, you know, a balancer in that gap, or all of the above. Do I want it one further over? Because if this is where the fluid bus is going to go, and so you would have some kind of balancy thing here, possibly. that then at least allows me to take things off the fluid bus and not hit those power poles. So we can have a bit of a gap. Ooh. We wouldn't need that much of a gap. Have we got any labs? So again, we do a couple of labs worth of a gap, and this is where the first machines would be. And would you connect? You would connect. Okay. So can we get... I think we're going to need 2 lanes of roboports. Roboports? Any suggestions, roboports? There we go. Because we don't... I mean, what we ultimately would then do is connect roboports here in order to do logistics across the whole system. So if we anticipate that being there, but added on later, we need to be able to construct up to there then. So this one needs to hit. I can't tell because of my own. If I get rid of that, can't tell the edge of the roboports because of my my roboports. So if this was where the thing was, that would be perfect. Oh no, it doesn't quite reach over there, does it? But if it was there... I mean, what do I actually want it to be able to do? I want you to be able to self-build a bus. You know, the bots to be able to build a bus for you. So it's this core part that needs to be covered, including the roboports, including the fluid side. The offshoot side of it, not too fast. I mean, we could rearrange these belts. I mean, if it was there, you see, it'd be almost perfect. Could we squeeze it up a bit somehow? I mean, we could, in that we don't need this, do we? I do this just because I don't know how many lanes of everything I need. But I now do, or I'm planning for that. So, what could we put together reasonably? What could we put together reasonably? So maybe we could have blues and batteries together in this bit here. Because always the difficulty when you put mixed lanes together. Ah, that was my parcel. It looks like I just shoved it through. What was I going to put together? It was going to be the blues. The trouble with having all 4 mixed lanes is you end up doing a hell of a lot of undergrounding, and you can't balance them and all that sort of stuff. It becomes a bit painful. What am I looking for? I'm looking for blues. But in the interests of sort of optimizing things. So if we then had, say... Because what I'm thinking, rather conveniently, if we have, 3 plastic... I need to not forget these. I just put them there. And 1 sulfur. And that works out quite well, doesn't it? Because we need a 3rd brick. No, we need 2 bricks. We need stone. Well, we could do stone and coal together. That usually works out quite well. And then this could maybe be the uranium. Obviously, I've switched to doing 2 gaps because why? Because these are the ones where you're getting the bonus material. Where I would want want extra lanes for that sort of thing. But these are just these are products rather than core, you know, raw things. You know, we may end up with more greens going down to bolster the local red production. So how does that work? I think that worked quite well. I'm tempted to leave a couple of tour lanes. Because we got rid of that one. So those could be the stone and the coal. Oh no, I got rid of plastic, didn't I? So actually, that's stone. Come here. And that's coal. And then we just have a couple spare. So we need that two there. And then we pick all of this up. There. That. That. So that's our thing there. And then that so it gives us the option of underground. Oh no, we need the path, don't we? So the path can be... Where's an underground? There. So we will be coming up, oops, like this. Switch into that. So we can have the path here. That's the output. And then do we want two? Since we've freed up a bit of space. This obviously needs to move. So, are we any better there? Well, we've got all of that in, so we can move this up. So we've got the one pipe room there. So it's better, but it's not quite spot on, is it? I mean, we could make that a 2. I said before, my apologies if this is not massively interesting. I really enjoyed doing it, but I'm kind of aware that it's just me sort of... Well, it's always me just talking to myself, but it's that in a particularly extreme way. So that was the path there. Then now we include that power pole and that power pole. I think that's it, isn't it? So... Oh, because I picked all that up, I've forgotten what was it, what was what. Doofus. I mean, lane-wise, I know what that is now, but it... So I'm going to have a set of these, basically, for the start of the bus. Yeah, so these are sort of 2 spare ones if you wanted to... Because sometimes I run, you know, local production of, you know, rocket fuel around and stuff like that. So it gives you a couple of extra lanes to do that. Or something equivalent. Yeah, okay. So one roboport will build everything, and then if we ended up... Oh, it's one tile off, look. So if it was there instead, what difference would that make? None? because that's fine anyway. I mean, it's not fine, but you could put it straight afterwards, so it could be here. And then if you needed to underground past the power pole or whatever, you can do that if you needed to. But it also connects. What about on this side then? Aha. That's a bit off, isn't it? 2, 3. Ah, okay. I mean, I'm not too fussed about it because there's only going to be a few things on this side that you're going to want. And if that would that work if that was there? No. Oh, it won't show me because of the power issue. So no, it would need to be the well, that would be there. So you could connect it on that side to connect to the general network. Yeah, that works, I think. Okay. Right, so what components of this become the blueprint? So we do want wires going up that way. So we can copy and paste that. Let's do it again. Okay. Do I want to integrate defences into it? I have done before. It gets a bit painful though because you end up taking up all these spaces with like laser turrets and stuff that have absolutely no real purpose because you've got your walls or whatever defence you've got, you know, normally. We need to do the fluid bus side of things at some point. That's obviously not going to be there, is it? So where would that start? I guess they would need to be in line, wouldn't they? And where would this be in relation to it? What I do, I mean these are just spacers basically. And so I know what's going on. And we do want this going the other way. Get rid of all of that. Get rid of all of that. I'll do it. I mean, we could include. Well, yeah, I'll think about that later. Yeah, okay. So blueprint-wise, we want this one. Oops, this one, like so. And we want to include the tiles. Do we want it to be grid snapping? Not really. No, I can't think of any reason you would want to grid snap it. But that's basically your... Right, need to add to the bus. Get the bots to build that. Part of the bus. Right, part of that system. Then we need something... I mean, what we need is like a starter, basically. So, say, a sort of a set of these. Which also include the first robo port. So this bit, basically. Now, where would that be aligned? Where's a good point to align that? Because I normally balance them as well. Have I got the belts somewhere here? No, that's the belts. There we go. So I normally do balancing on these as well. We won't include that in the bus. It's just up to you whether you do that sort of thing. But we need to have space for it. So that'd probably be after that, wouldn't it? So I think what I'm getting to is that... Oh. Let's do... In fact, let's do that temporarily. So I get rid of the bounce. And then... So this one does need to snap to grid. But I need to work that out in a moment. It doesn't want that as a... So this is your power poles and your robo ports. Oh, I always forget what the logistic stuff is. There we go. I mean, we could put some lights on it as well. Yeah, let's put some lights on it. Treat ourselves. Right, so if this had lights, say, there and what, maybe there, there and there. That'll do. I normally find when I do them, you end up having to delete them anyway because it doesn't. They always get in the way, basically. So why is that not including the? Why is that not -1 or whatever? So we'll do that in a second. So this needs to be located. We want two versions of this, basically. One that's got these guys on, that tells you where to feed everything in. And I guess it could include the path as well. But where does it sit in relation to this? I think we put it below the lights. If I say 1 square. And then it tells you where the path is. Like that. Help you line everything out. Was that there? No, it's one below, wasn't it? So it tells you where the path is. Tells you what these belts are, or what you need where in terms of belts and... Whoops. So it's that, basically. And shows you where your first power poles go. Where your first pipes go. And then you extend the actual, belts with that blueprint. We need one for the fluid bus as well. And again, that one does want a tile. Alright, snap to grid, relative, and we want it to be 2 lower than that. And then that should tile. Is that right? Difficult to tell with those ones there. Yeah, so that's okay. That's the fluid bus. And we know this one's okay. I mean, we could grid snap it and do absolutes, but I don't like to do that because you might want to put it anywhere rather than work to an absolute grid. I guess the question here is, it's probably better if these are aligned with the power poles, really. Like that. So we want... Yeah. Maybe if we make that... Yeah, it can poke out the bottom. I think that's fine. Maybe it should be 2 tiles there. Wait, why did they not map onto each other? Oh, because I've done 2 gaps there. No. Okay, so we know these are iron. It's just that I've completely messed up everything else, haven't I? And we know this is going to be like red and green science. Oops. And then this is military. Oops. And blue. And then this is purple and yellow. And then this is white. Okay. So it tells you where to hook those in. So we got the path there. We know that's iron as well. These are all copper. These are green circuits. And then I completely forget what I did. I think it was 2 red. A blue. Don't know, battery maybe? Then what? Oh, I remember this was stone and coal. There must have been sulfur somewhere as well. Sulfur. Was it sulfur and 3 plastic? That feels right. And then we had 2 stone brick, which are under that. What we're missing? Oh, the uranium. That's under raw, isn't it? Okay. Is that everything? Let's check back. Oh, hang on. Hello, Ravager SC. Welcome to the stream. What you're working on? Blueprints, obviously, but what specifically? Bus stuff. Yes, basically. So, right. So, what I'm trying to do, I played a series of streams where I built a mega base for the first time. I played the game a lot, but I never really did a mega base, and part of the reason for that was I kind of knew that it would sort of frustrate me in a sense of, you know, it'd be a lot of stuff that I'd not done in like very large numbers. I've not explained that very well, but basically what I found when I did that series is I spent half the series getting to even rocket launch, basically, because I did it from scratch. And so by the time I even got to the mega base and learning how to mega base, I was already a bit sort of fatigued, and then it sort of dragged on because I didn't really know what I was doing. Anyway, so what I kind of decided to do was because I've never done standard blueprints, because I really enjoy the design process. So every single time I build new blueprints. And the thing is, one of the things I really realised I knew it anyway, but during the Megabase series was that a lot of those blueprints are just the same, and I just recreate exactly the same thing every time. So I was like, right, well, if I want to have another go at doing a Megabase, then I should come up with a standard set of blueprints for me. You know, I'm kind of intending people can download them maybe from, you know, website or something, I don't know. But they're for me, basically. So what I've designed is, this is like a starter science, red and green science. Then it makes, you know, this is the smelting in order to make all the stuff you need in order to make, you know, your belt, you know, so it's got belts and all that sort of stuff in here. Got defences and power poles and all that sort of stuff. That then allows you to build this base, which is self-contained, and the oil one. And this makes bots, essentially. So it makes quite a lot of belts and quite a lot of bots. Also gives you trains and all that sort of stuff. All that jazz. It's not ratioed particularly well or anything. It's just, it chugs through it, to help you sort of thing. And then that allows you to build a bus base. And the bus base is aimed at doing 500 science a minute, basically. The idea of this version of it, because I've done loads of buses and loads of different sizes and all that sort of thing. But I've sort of, I always do it, I improvise it every time, basically. So this is trying to set it up so that it's, fairly standardized. No, I'm not going to do gear lanes. I don't tend to bother doing that. So I do know that, I mean, feel free to, chip in advice and whatever, but just to know, I mean, there's some things it's not how I play sort of thing, so I won't be taking any all on any advice. So it's not, if you're not interested in that, then no harm, no foul sort of thing. But so I don't tend to put gears on the bus sort of thing. It's just sort of how I play, and I say the intention of this, it's for me. It's not, if people wanted it, that's fine, and what they can copy it or whatever. But say it's entirely for me to play through. It's not. I'm not intending it as a sort of idealized perfect ratio, all that sort of stuff. It's just not how I play, basically. But yeah, so I won't be doing gears on the bus, but I say it's like, for example, I always put sulfur on the bus because you need it for science, but some people don't. They just make it locally, and that's just, it's just how I do things, basically. Right, so I say we need, so if this is the starter, and that gets you sort of everything started, as it were, then I need to blueprint that, don't I? Did I do that already? So this is that, and I need the tiles as well. What are we going to call this? So I guess we could call it what symbol do we want to give it? We could just call it number 0 or something like that. So it's your starting point for your bus, or my bus. Cool. So that's that. We've then got this one here, which extends it as much as you want, and you can put balancers on and whatever if you want and so desire. Then you've got the fluid bus there. Okay. Then we've got. So we need some way of extending this. Didn't I make that already, though? Have we got one with... Oh, there we go. So we need this one to tile, basically. It's probably better if it has 2 parts in it, because that's easier to line up. Okay, so if we do that down here, somewhere out the way. No, more don't need... No, so, I mean... It won't be perfect ratios, so I mean, it'll make enough that the science will work at about 500 a minute. I'm not even going to sort of be too worried if it doesn't quite hit that. But essentially, it'll make everything else using, like, overrun. So the stuff that's left over, essentially. And the idea is, so when you get to white science, you then start doing some outsourced factories. So you would want a green circuit factory, and you'd probably, there'll be a... solar panel and accumulator factory is a separate entity, because one of the mistakes I made with, or one of the things I discovered with the Mecha Base series was that you need a ridiculous, if you're going to run the base on solar panels, a lot of people have told me you don't need to, but because uranium is sufficiently, it doesn't have as big a UPS impact as everyone thinks, apparently, but if you're going to run it on solar panels, you need a bonkers number of solar panels. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this one here. because I ended up with 1.4 million solar panels, and it didn't actually have enough power to run the base. It was stupid because it was a 12. This was another sort of error I made. It was a 12 beacon. Everything was 12 beacon, which was just an insane amount of power. I think about 70% of the power was going into beacons, basically. It was a bit nuts. Right, so we need this to tile. So if I turn that off and turn it on again, yeah, there we go. So we want that to be down a bit by, what's that going to be, about 7 tiles maybe? That looks about right. Okay, so... Oh, have I hit? I left that on absolute. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's cool. And is it at maximum length? Have I got that right? Yeah, okay. So that then lets you build that. And say, the idea is you've got a base here that's, it's not doing a lot of product, you know, not making millions of bots, but it's making enough bots that you can sort of just leave them to chug away at sort of filling this in as you add bits and pieces on the side. That's sort of what I was going for. Okay, so let's test it out. Get rid of all this. And sort of see if it works. Get rid of all of that. So let's put it in a book, I guess. So we want, what do we want to put in it? We want that one. Well, that's the second one. So that's a starter. That's the fluids. That's your power poles, etc. Cool. So let's put this down here instead. Okay. So you would start out with that one. Then you would move on to this one. Then you can move on to that. Well, I mean, you can do whatever order. That one there. Then you've got that one there. Cool. Let's add a bit more of this in. A bit new, but I've noticed a lot of people use obsessing over UPS stuff and just parroting info that is either old or not applicable until you get to 5-10k science a minute scales. Nuclear certified until you get to 100 gigawatt range unless you're on a potato PC. Yeah, so that, I mean, that's actually what I found. How can I put this? I'm stubborn, as you probably detected earlier on. And I tend to just do things the way that I know how to do them, sort of thing. And I wasn't, you know, I'd obviously heard all the things about, I'll be honest, I hate fluids in this game, but not for from the UPS point of view. I personally have never had any real problems with fluids. It's just the way they work is just painful. I just don't like the way they work, particularly, you know, junctions, and you have to come up with what I feel are stupid designs in order to get fluids to move around properly when you're unloading them from trains and all that sort of stuff. And it's like when I eventually got so annoyed with it, I just flipped to doing like coal liquefaction basically, because you can, like for plastic, because that you can control that a lot easier. But yeah, I didn't have any, I couldn't detect any issues to do with fluids. What really killed when I sort of fired it up, because it was a 5,000 science. That was another mistake I made. I went straight for 5,000, which was just dumb. But what really killed it for me was the basically when the rockets started launching, it would run totally fine, and I could have all the sciences, you know, building buffers and all that sort of stuff. But as soon as rockets started launching, because I needed 6 rockets to support that. As soon as rockets started launching, it just ground to a. I lost like 25 UPS basically. Now whether that was because, as I understand it, trains are actually one of the biggest killers, and the train system was atrocious basically. I just spammed in trains until it worked. But yeah, I mean, because what I'm saying, basically, I would have had to build a better nuclear design. So because I only had a 2x2 nuclear thing, and I say to run this base, I had like 1.4 million solar panels. So I would have needed a bigger, to take advantage of the bonuses from the nuclear. Because I would have needed like, I don't know, like 100 or something of the 2x2 things to run the base. And I just wasn't willing to put the time in to do that, essentially, rather than, because solar panels, I just copy and paste them, like, and I had, I had a blueprint already, so it just became a volume challenge, essentially. Trains are a lot less efficient than belts. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a belt-based production, but essentially, I mean, this was another error I made in the sense of, not really working properly. But I was using outposts, and what I hadn't appreciated is a behemoth biter can get hit by a train. It was like 484 trains, so really big, heavy trains with nuclear fuel in them. And it can basically take a hit from a train like that and keep going. And particularly if you have, those like attack groups, responded to pollution and that sort of thing. A train will just hit them, and it won't even kill the biter the behemoth biter it hits. And then they obviously aggro on the train, and it kills the train. And so you either have to completely defend all of your train lines, in which case why do outposts, or essentially turn the biters off, which is what I did in the end. But yeah, I was building these outposts that were like heavily defended and all that sort of stuff, and they worked great. But the trains was the weak point, because the trains were going past, hitting these biters, and aggroing them. Train gets eaten. It also sets them off eating the tracks and the power poles. Power poles would go down. It was just a vicious cycle. And it's like, okay, so a better way of doing it is just to expand your walls and just encompass the resources within your base, basically. Which I learned, but it meant I spent, I think, a third of the streams were basically me putting down outposts. Anyway, I'm getting a bit distracted. So, so what do we want to work on now? If that's the sort of basics of the, the bus as it is, I guess we could build up. Do I want to work on circuits now? I guess we should, really. Because the idea is you would connect this to the bot base, basically, and then they would chug away making stuff, and then you start replacing things. You start actually making belts on the bus and stuff like that. See, I fancy doing science rather than. Yeah, go on then. Let's start with some of the science stuff. I've already got the calculator up and running. Okay, so if I turn some of these off, what does that end up looking like? Yellow. If I get rid of all of them. Yeah, okay. Best is DI. Not sure what you mean by DI. Oh, direct insertion. Okay. Colleague and I accidentally discovered a pathfinding exploit that lets you negate wall damage. Oh, right. Unless you have waves of multiple hundreds coming in at once. You don't even need a yellow research. Behemoth proof with red ammo. That's blue upgrades. Oh, no. So, no, links aren't allowed in the chat. I had a bit of a spate of bots basically coming in and spamming. So, no, links are disabled, I'm afraid. Pathfinder literally negate wall damage. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's not so much. So what happens is your trains are going along, and any groups that are, because you obviously get colonisation groups and pollution response groups, and basically if they're in the way of the trains, so it's not really, you kind of can't guard against it because, I say, you're inevitably going to get colonisation groups, and there's a good chance of them wandering across your train lines, and your artillery won't attack a colonisation group until it starts colonising. So they're no defence against colonise or a pollution response group. And I say you can obviously just lay defences around your tracks, but then what's the point of it being an outpost? It isn't an outpost, really, is it? If you're defending every single square inch of your train lines, then you're effectively walling your entire base. So why not do that from the beginning, basically? So it's more, it's not really about the pathfinding or anything like that. I mean, maybe, depending on what the theme is, but as I say, the walls are really cheap. Yeah, I mean, that's what the lesson I learned, as it were, is just you just expand your walls basically and just encompass more and more of the map, and just grab resources as you go. Because what I was trying to do was, if you imagine, because this is in creative mode mod, but I was trying to build outposts, way out here with like really really big resources. And what you can do is just move your entire base sort of thing closer to the bigger resources. But I was trying to have resources out here being brought in by train, because I figured, right, well, let's grab the big patches, they'll last basically forever, and train them in. But as I say, you then start hitting biters, basically. No matter how much you clear it, they're always going to come back. So then your answer to that is to wall everything in, and that's fine. But you wouldn't want to be out here, walling stuff in if all of your production is over here. But yeah, so I say it's sort of a lesson learned, basically. Right, so what I normally do, so if we move this down a bit, we can imagine that we would have a power pole. Say, where's a place to put it? Well, let's measure it out with some assemblers to give you a bit of room. And then there. Oh, probably be blues at this stage, I would guess, anyway. So, I say what I typically do is something like this. Okay. Because obviously these take 5 seconds each. Obviously the blues don't operate at that speed, but standard thing basically of ignoring machine speed by keeping everything the same. So I've done the belts the wrong way around, haven't I? So we've got inputs here, outputs here, outputs, inputs. Go. Actually, probably better if there's a bit of space there. So, in theory, you might have beacons added on. Like, it'll be a separate kind of design for that. And then we want to be making the stuff there. How much do I want to include in the actual... Let's get a These on, stop it flashing. Two guns or two lasers and two flamers per chunk. As I mean, I did. That's what I had. I had artillery on the way, but as artillery won't shoot at. It shoots at nests basically. It doesn't shoot at mobile biters. So. I only use monster trains, so if you say I do catch a colonization wave, it just shoots. That's the point. I say that's not what happens. Doesn't you basically? I know people show these things on Reddit where it's like this buzzsaw trains and all that sort of stuff, but those aren't practical solutions. And as I say, particularly if you have a group of like 3 or 4 behemoth biters, the trains just hit them and bounce off. Basically, it doesn't stop them. I say that from experience. Right. So. Oh, what am I doing? So we want, which way round do I want to do it? Yeah, we'll do belts there. And then we can have... let's do that slightly differently, like that. We have iron coming that way. What am I doing? I'm setting up the green science. What an idiot. Skipped ahead in my brain. Why I started doing that. So how many do we need? We need just the one, don't we? Alright, well, what if I change the setting? Just to make sure. So rather than that, we have no modules. And then we have blue machines. So obviously it wouldn't be 500 at this stage, it'd be, say... Whoops. What would it be? I mean, it'd be... 240 or so? Something like that. 260. What is that? There we go. Yes, it's just the one making gears. Cool. Okay. Oh, I could do. There's an idea. We could use that for both, couldn't we? That's something I've not done before. That might work quite well. So if we turn green science on here, because we would need 4 to... Oh, I've done the wrong number there. Hang on. Oh, I've got one belt on still. I'm using the Factorio Lab calculator just to double check the numbers. I should install the rate mod, but I always forget. So if that was that, then we would need, well, 2.5, but we could put 4 in. Just a block of 4. Yeah, that'd work. We would have to split it though. So yeah, so this needs to be, oops, copper, doesn't it? Would it be better if I... So we do that. We're going to have those going that way. We're going to have copper coming in here. So this is iron plate. I think if I use these guys instead. What? Yeah, let's put them in for now. And then that can go that way. What have I done there? Oh. Idiot. There we go. So we've got iron plate coming in. Obviously it's under intermediates. And then copper. Do I want to move them up? Probably. Because if the idea is that you're going to use, or I'm going to use balances here. No, that'd work. You'd obviously have to delete it or fill them out with it, but it would fit there. And then, I mean, if you wanted, you could do that, but that'd be really pointless. Yeah, so then that's red science coming out of there. And we can have that be there, but the other part to it is in the green science build. Yeah, cool. Okay. Do I want to have an upgraded version of it? Because this idea is that this is going to be... So that's the red science build using blue circuits. Blue circuits, blue machines. Obviously it's over-engineered then, isn't it, in terms of gears? Do we want to bother about that? I don't think I care. But then the other side of it has the green on it. Do I care? I do actually. So if we just get rid of that part of it. Maybe, oh. Leave the power poles. For positioning purposes? What did I undo there? Let's just do that. So, what would you actually upgrade? You would put modules in. Do I want a version with modules in? I don't think I do. That's sort of up to you, really. Or up to me as I'm doing it, if I've made them. Because this blueprint does actually have modules in it. I think. Not that it works. There you go. So we have got some speeds and prods. Oh, go on. Have Have I even got them in my inventory? I don't think I have. So, put in the speeds. And rods. So just do the boring thing. Oh, one of each. Cool. So I guess this is red science with level 1 modules on it. Something like that. So it's that and that. And then we want another one. Actually, let's copy and paste that down right. Because what you would then do, you would go to green machines. Have I got them? No. Well, I would go to green machines. And I'd also probably have... In fact, I've already got one of them. So we'd probably get to level 2 stuff. No. That one. That one. That one. Nope. That one. That one. Would we have got to level 2 modules? I guess. Oh. No. No. Be alright in a minute. I haven't really decided whether I'm going to include upgrade things. Oh, why have you not? Oh, I took my things out, didn't I? Wait, why are you not doing that? Oh, I haven't got any, have I? But you would also increase the numbers, I would guess. So, oh no. What's the bonus on that? If you do, oops, 3 and 1, it's okay, isn't it? Yeah, because it boosts the. Wait. So 1.25. Yeah. Yeah, so it's... Oops, still one of those. But then 3 of them. There we go. So we can just chuck... Oops. Extra ones in there. Oh, missed. Wait, did I get all of them? No, I didn't. All good. I've thrown one on the floor in a tantrum. Okay. The next version of it then, the blue belt version, is what? Is a different design basically. So at this stage I usually sort of tear it down, which I know is probably not the most efficient thing, but it's fine. No, I shouldn't have. Got rid of them, we need them. Is 5 that, is it 5 that works? Or is it 4? Yeah, 5's fine. Okay. So we then upgrade everything to this. I say I'm kind of aware that this is dumb, but I don't care. So blues to things. I don't want to go. I guess actually we want to swap them for them, don't we? Is that going to work? It's moaning about not having something. What are you moaning about? Oh, I haven't got any of them on me. Okay. Oh. Oops. And then we want level 3 points. Everywhere. And then we're into beacon territory. Now, does it get hit by 4? Yeah, they do, don't they? Put the speeds in. Got any? Brilliant. There we go. Cool, so we've got 8 effect sources. Cool, okay. I think actually you have to... It won't even sustain that, but... You don't actually need it, sort of thing. Cool, so these are the iterations, basically. You go from regular old blue machines... Obviously that's not there. With yellow belt. Then you go to same but with a couple of modules. Unless you've decided to already put them in to start with, you can use that one. Then you go to red belt. With green machines. Then you go to moduled, and this I believe should give us 500, if my original maths was okay. We'll be doing a big trial run anyway, so even if I've messed it up, we will, well, if I've messed it up, we will find out. Okay, so we got that one, and that one, so we also need this one. So this would be with that, and then we also need this one, which would be wrong thing. So that needs to be red science, green machines, beacons. Cool. Yeah, okay, that'll do. Did I include the power pots in? I did, didn't I? Okay, let's test it with... Should have tested it before. Let's test it with some spawnery chesty things. So that wants to be iron plate. That wants to be copper. And then we want a void chest. Well, I'm not actually fast. Let's just let it chunk through. Okay. We forget how slow everything is on yellow belt. We've got cogs getting down to the end now. Obviously this would actually, you know, you'd probably actually want, you'd be sticking in the green as well straight away, so this will be 4 machines. Which will back up very quickly. In fact, that's a point. Would that even work? Because if we've then got greens, we need, oh no, that would be fine, because we need 1.5. Yeah, we only need half a belt to support the greens as well. Okay. And this would saturate back, and I mean, in theory I guess we should balance it, but it's not going to matter because this is going to be a full thing. Cool, happy with that. Right then, so green science then. So the green science side of it, this is, I was getting ahead of myself. Oh, I should have put lights on. Oh, I can do lights later. I'll just put these down here to remind me. Yeah, so the green science side of it. So we want enough room for a bacon there. And then we would need more iron coming up this way now. And then we want, say, machine making belts, which is feeding in there. One making skirkets there. So you can output there. It's power. So if that's the output of both, this one needs input. This one needs input. This obviously needs to be plates, doesn't it? Well, let's swap these back to those things. So those two. So red science, that'd be copper. So you got your belts coming out. You've got your, oh, I need green circuits, don't I? Actually, if we do that, avoid that altogether, then we would have room for those there. Does that need to go down at all? Because this needed enough room there. Does that work still? Yeah, that's fine there. So these are the bacons for the green machines. Then we can have the green machines there, or the first row. We obviously need 6 of those, but we can have the things there. Oops. Outputs there. Power here. So your green beakers. Let's get your stuff coming in and out. Which way round have I done it? Let's just copy this down. Wait, it's the opposite way round though, isn't it? So we need to flip it. Alright, we got input there. Yeah. There we go. So we need to double that up. Like that. Oh, I forgot the power bomb. So that gets us our 12 green machines. Where have I put that? I've put it just in line with the power pole. So this needs to be... Huh. Maybe we should make all of these one further down. Okay. Well, that's green circuits. Coming off the bus. And then this is green potions going into the bus. And we've got room for bacons there. This obviously needs finishing off. Oops. Like so. Okay. So that's the basic green science build. So we'll include... We don't want these bits. Oh wait, I was gonna... That's wrong then, isn't it? So this needs to come in here. I mean, I could just split that actually. Because it's not that much stuff. That makes more sense, doesn't it, I think? So we'll have to tweak the other one. Wait, that needs to be... Because that's a full lane, isn't it? So that needs to be different anyway. Bit messy, but I think that's fine. I mean, it's basically pushing stuff, because that needs to be copper rather than iron. So I can't do one of those, you know, opposing ones. I probably could with filtering, maybe. But why bother? I mean, these can't be quite next to each other anyway, because if I'm balancing them, which I always do. But yeah, because this only needs... Between them, they only need half lane of gear wheels anyway, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's more. Oh, awesome. So that didn't work. What is it that needs... Oh no, I've included the red there. Sorry, hang on. Right, so we need... Well, it calls it half a belt, but is it rounding up or rounding down? Because are the gear wheels going into the... we need more iron plate anyway, so I don't think this will work. It's not quite enough stuff getting over here. That's annoying, because that was quite neat. Oh well. What could we do? I mean, we could just make this an iron and you know, a mixed lane. Because how much space have I got for balancing anyway? Yeah, that could work. So we could have like a mixed lane there. And that would get extra iron in. I'm just wondering... So it needs... See, I suspect it's more than that. It's not a problem, like, you know. Just it's quite neat, basically. But we can punt it up. We wouldn't be aligned with the power pole then as well. That would help out. Okay, let's rethink that then. So, if we assume we're going to have a separate lane of iron for both of these. In fact, let's do a a mixed one there. So if I just move this up out the way, and then move, say, Do I need to move it? Yeah, I need to move it because I need room for two belts, a belt and a inserter. And then, so we want that in there. I mean, we probably wouldn't need to put beacons in here, but if we wanted to. And that suit us there. So this needs to be more iron. And then this becomes a mixed iron and oops, green circuits. Don't matter what order, but that gets you iron. Then this is a full lane of coal. Well, whatever's left effectively that doesn't go down there. I mean, we could prioritise that. Would be one option. Make sure it does fill up the red circuits, but it's probably not going to matter. Not with 4 machines chunking away. Okay, so you now need him there. I'm inconsistent now, I've done that, haven't I? So that gets you gears, that gets you gears, that gets you green circuits and iron plate. Okay. So we, where would we need to put that? We put that there. The question becomes, what about the beacons? They wouldn't fit in, would they? So it needs to be 1 down, 2 down. Would that even work? Let's have a look, see. No, it doesn't fit, does it? Is that right? Because you need to be, yeah, you need to be there. Okay. So if we did one of them, I don't know why I just undo that. Do that. And we could have beacons there. Got beacons there. Oh, hi, So1. Welcome back. Hope you're well. What are we building? I just put the beacon one up. Doesn't have to be in line. Yeah. Might as well just fit it in, though, is my view. Basically, this is slightly different series where essentially this is like my almost response to the failure. Wasn't really a failure as such, but the problems I had with the Mega Base series, basically. So I'm trying to come up with some standardized blueprints, and how can I put this? There's going to be a lot of stuff that I just do because that's how I do it. So, you know, feel free to chip in and thoughts and all that sort of stuff, but I will almost certainly be ignoring. Yeah, it's not. I don't mean no, don't backseat or anything. But it's just a lot of this is just me doing what I do, basically. I mean, minimum all assemblies should be green, yellow. Yeah, so there will be. It's basically the idea is it's like a set of I do these by basically upgrading everything as I go. I say, you feel free to comment, but I say I will almost certainly be ignoring a lot of the comments because it's just how I want to play the game in a sense. It's not, I'm not going for anything that's super mega optimized or any of that sort of stuff. It's just something that I can play it through. I know what I'm building. I've building a lot of, you know, things in the style of how I build things, as it were. And then essentially it's just my toolkit effectively. Because the point of this series is it's basically to develop a set of blueprints for myself. I say people wanted to use them, that'd be fine, but it's not really intended, you know, it's not like this is how you do it type series. I find that sort of thing a bit tedious, if I'm totally honest. For this sort of thing, I mean, you know, it's alright for mega bases and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, people have learnt a lot of lessons, but when you're just doing it small scale, you know, because you want to get to launching a rocket, you know, the fact that you're, you know, producing slightly too many cogs or too less of this and that, it's just, you know, none of that stuff bothers me. Okay, so let's have a look at the, you know, the upgraded version. So we want to mirror this basically. I do need to make some tweaks to this, don't I? Oh no, I reversed that, so we're not bothered. So it's just the lights I haven't done. Right, so this is... Did I blueprint that? No, I did not. What's that one? Why is that not properly named? Green. Not green. Oh no, it is green, sorry. So it's base blue assemblers making green. Okay, then we want another version that is what? Wait, did I include the cogs? I did, didn't I? We don't need that bit there. Let's just redo that blueprint. So I got a bit confused. So it's all of that stuff. But we don't need any of that. Yeah, I think that's right. So we then want to place that down over here somewhere. And this is the basic beacon, basic module version, isn't it? Why is that flashing? So it would be one of each, basically. Oops. What did I do there? Put them in. Oh. Oh, of course you can't put them in blooming then. You can put them in here though. No. Idiot. There we go. That. So I guess just stick two of them in. So that's the basic beacon, basic module version, which you would probably start. I would probably be starting with that because it's making a few beacons on in the other factory. I've messed that one up though, haven't I? What have I done wrong there? So that should be one of them. So let's redo that one. In fact, let's get another book there. So we can put the red ones in there, which is that one. That one, and that one. Cool. So this is that one, that one, that one, that one. Ba-ba-ba. Cool. And the next one goes up to red belt with, okay, so that should be, I'll just get rid of that. use that. So I need, what do I need? Extra. Wait, why didn't it do the machines? So that should be green. Why did that not do the machines? Oh, because they're not on the list. Cool. Let's just get the power connected. And then we want extra ones of those. Like that. And then there. Is that right? Yeah. Guess I can stick speeds in, but it's sort of a bit pointless with them. So that's the next one. So it's then... which way round did I do those? We've got green machines. So basic green machines. No. That one now. Oh, I've been massively inconsistent, but there you go, that's just me, isn't it? Right, and then next one is blue machines. No. Blue machines. Sorry, blue belts. Let's just get another upgrader. So this one goes from red to blue. And level 2 actually becomes prods where it can be. I just swap the others out by hand. And then 2s become 3s as well. Then this is irrelevant anyway. So we're switching over to substations. Where did I put the substations on these? Oh, I left the power piles, didn't I? Oh, that's fine. I'll leave power piles on them and them. It's just these ones I like to have the subs on. And I've put it on the bottom. So we then want to... So obviously we can't cover 6. We can add one on afterwards. There we go. Oh. Has that blueprint got... I think that blueprint's got bacons on. Usually don't build to upgradable. Specific Mega Base stuff is usually very different than early game for me. Yeah, I mean this isn't... sorry, I don't know if I didn't explain that properly. This isn't a mega, forum. It's not a mega base as such. In fact, I didn't do those. It's level 2 consistently, did I? What a plonker. This is just... Basically, it's a bus to launch a rocket, essentially. Although it won't even quite do that. Right, so I messed that up, didn't I? So that shouldn't have any beacons in. So it's almost like codifying the way I play rather than... I'm not intending it to be anything other than that. It's not really intended for anyone else to use. As I say, I do find the... Well, this is the perfect way to play. All a bit sort of tedious, to be honest with you. So, take the bacons out of there. But that's all wrong, isn't it? Cool, okay. so let's redo that one. So everything's 2? Yeah, there we go. Right, so this one does need the beacons on. Up to there. I guess I could put them on so it's part of the blueprint, but obviously those would probably already be covered by the other one. Is everything level 3? No. So if we swapsy those out, I mean that is so pointless. It's unbelievable, but so I don't care. Now. Okay, so that's the final one. So I need to do another run where I test everything out anyway. I could probably just get rid of those power poles, but whatever. Cool. Okay. So this is. So this is one of the things I do between the streams with this is standardise how the heck I've done the naming thing. So it's something along those lines. Okay. How are we doing on time? 5:45. Right. Marvellous. Okay. Let's test it out then. Well, not test it, but slap it down again, basically. So we should have the. Where the heck did the bus one go? Oh, it's that one, isn't it? Right. So that could go there. Like that. Okay, and then let's use that there. So that goes there. And then you would need to hook it up over there, obviously. But cool. Thing. Then goes to that. We should let you put the modules in, but oh. So effectively that, isn't it? While doing that, let's just have a look and see, does it overlay properly? Just that. And then we upgrade to the different belts. So there's an argument for just having a set of upgrade planners. I mean, one thing I haven't included is roboports. But I don't need them on this bit. Because I'm not going to be moving science around via roboport, so that's irrelevant. It's just to give the coverage, you know, for science and stuff. For the storage area. Okay, so then the next one would have would shift over to whatchamacallits, substations. But then what you also want is this one here. Does that tie with that? Yeah, that's fine, I think. Yeah, as I say, whether I include a set of sort of upgrade planners, I don't know. Okay. So there's only 10 minutes left, really. What could I do in the meantime? Well, I guess I could add the lights on, which I forgot to this. Let's do that then. So, where do I want them? Normally just put them sort of in the middle, really. Oh, that's not. Get rid of the green one first. And then let's just get rid of that. No. So you would need to go. Right. And then you would need lights. So we can redo. Oh, no. Redo that blueprint. To include the lights. And then no. Guess I should do all of them, really. Okay. And that one. And then that one. So where did I put them? There, 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 and then, oh, it's wrong anyway. And then that's that one there. Okay, let's redo these then. That's the first one, that's done. Redo that. That's the next one. Do that. And then that's the next one. Redo that. Cool. So then the next set. I guess I have a latch, so I could just get rid of these, couldn't I? And then this one is on that one there. So we had a light there, didn't we? So we could put one there. So one there and one there. Which way around have I done that? I've done the top first. So let's redo that blueprint. And then the next one. And copy those over. Two in the middle, inside and outside, so. So outside, to middle. bottom. Like that. So I probably need for those is upgrade planners rather than there's blueprints as such, but yeah. So where did they go? They were in there and there, weren't they? And that was that and that. And then how did I do it here? Inconsistently is how I did it here. Brilliant. Brilliant. So top, bottom, top, bottom. Like that. Where's the red one? That's it there, isn't it? So what did I do wrong there? I didn't put that one on the top. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for today. Sorry, I won't say that. Yes, I'll be back tomorrow. In fact, let's put my schedule up. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with some Dyson Sphere program. Tomorrow we're going to be exploiting the magma planet. Going to be playing with the magma power generators, which is something I've not done before. I'll be streaming again from 3 o'clock. So after work, basically 5 o'clock. So, so yeah, this series will. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Aero Pagas 0. Lost my train of thought then. Yeah, so this series I may do next week. I'll probably do more Factorio 2 as well. I might do Saturday and Sunday. But next week I have holiday, basically. And I was going to be away, actually, so I wasn't going to be streaming at all. But that's all cancelled, basically. The person's got COVID, so it's not really a good idea for me to go and see them. Yeah, so I may do slightly different. It'll probably be the Monday stream, you know, the Dyson Sphere program next week. Probably just won't do anything extra on the Friday, but it'll probably be the Monday one where I'll probably do that at 3 o'clock maybe, and maybe do a 4-hour session, because we're kind of getting really close on the Dyson Sphere series where we're almost. It's been a long time since we've done any science because I've basically just tore it all apart and we've done that. But a few streams and we'll be back to having, and like it'll be much bigger scale actually, not mega base scale, but much bigger scale on the science, and we'll be able to rattle through the final things, and then I'll be able to focus on finishing off the Dyson Sphere, because in that series when I did my first playthrough, I didn't actually finish a Dyson. Well, hardly even started it, to be honest with you, because you can use a Dyson Swarm to do the final mission complete science, and that's basically what I ended up doing. But yeah, so I'd quite like to finish off a Dyson Sphere. I'll probably end it there. I probably won't do like loads of different spheres and stuff, because you know there's like combat coming, so I'll do a series when they do combat basically. But yeah, so that's it for today. Next week, as I say, there will be Saturday and Sunday Factorio of some description. I'm basically running 3 series, and I'm chopping and changing between them as I feel like it, basically. This one I'm really not sure about. I say because it's so focused on me, I don't like to cause offence, and it's like I appreciate people want to give tips, and I could just set, you know, no back seating, but I do appreciate people chipping in with thoughts and stuff. But this is just me making my base, as it were. It's not really intended for people to go, oh, you should do this and that and the other. You know, I appreciate that very much in like Factorio, where I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like the aesthetic series, that's just completely off the wall stuff. It's not you know, you couldn't do that stuff on that series because it's not meant to be like that. In fact, I could revive that instead. But yeah, this one's very much just, you know, me building things for me, and I don't like to sort of keep having to say that. So maybe I'll just say no backseating on this one, but more than happy on the others. But because I do, you know, it's kind of the nature of people who play Factorio in that they like to, you know, help and stuff like that. But I say this isn't. I'm not really intending this to be that. I'm not even sure whether I really like streaming this series as such. I really love doing it because I love doing the designing and stuff. But I don't know. It's just it all goes on in my head rather than really being, you know, a good series to stream. I think. I don't know. I'll have to give it a think. But I might revive the aesthetic Factorio one because I have made some progress with that between streams. Anyway, I'm prattling on. You too. Thank you very much. Aero plays. So it's not. I mean it more from point of view of I don't want to come across as like being angry at people giving tips sort of thing. When I do appreciate that in other things I'm playing, it's just for this particular one, it's not really intended for that, and it's just me messing about with, you know, design. Like, you know, I've just done the thing with the different layouts for when I get to bigger science. And that's just something I like to do. I just like to rip it up and put it back in, but it's not efficient and you know, a good idea. It's just what I do, sort of thing, on when I play through. But you know, and I do know it's not the best thing to do, but I don't care. But yeah, so anyway, so it will be back, I'm sure. But I'll probably, I don't know. Yeah, I need to give it some thought. But I say we'll definitely do some Factorio 2 next week, and the aesthetic series. I say I may revive that one because it's been a long time since I've done one of those. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for this week. So thanks all for joining me. Oh, I suppose, I mean, all the VODs and stuff are on YouTube if you wanted to check them out on there for all of my series, basically. So all my, you know, that Mega Base series that I said I was doing, I made loads of, or learnt a lot, shall we say. That's on there. There's my No Spoon run and all that sort of stuff. If you wanted to catch up with any of that stuff, including this series, the aesthetic one, the Factorio stuff, that's all going on there. Yeah, so I guess all what's left for me to say really is if you've been watching, thanks for doing so, and hope you've enjoyed it. You might consider coming back for another one, even if I'm a bit crotchety. Thanks for watching. Cheers.